and I am a rural woman. I didn't know how to identify myself until I joined this group. I was just a woman. But I am a rural woman. I was born that way. In the country. With farms and chickens and all kinds of animals, cotton, tobacco. And that's the way it was for me. And I didn't know anything else, so it was a life that I had and my parents had, who were sharecroppers and who were poor and destitute in our early years. So we learned how to survive. Me and my sisters and my parents, we learned how to survive. And we were kind of smart kids. But during that time, we had to stay out of school to help the farmer put in his crops and so forth. So there was many days that we couldn't attend school. And it was a kind of lonely existence because we were far from any other people. We were the only tenant farmers around, so we had to make do with what we had, and our imagination played a role in us being able to entertain ourselves. And so that's where the imagination came from. But one of the things that my mother did during that time, and she was a smart lady, she would keep the smartest ones of us out of school to help work on the farm. And that's the way she did it. And the less smart people got a chance to go to school more often. So that was a good thing. But, you know, in all of this, I have a story to tell. I have a story to tell you. And it's about a dream that I had. And on that farm, and trying to imagine what life could be like outside that, there was a man who lived across the field, and he did public works. He was a mechanic. And in his work, he was able to obtain comic books that we relished. And we would go up every weekend and just get all his funny books, or comic books as you may call them, and read them. And in that comic book, there was a thing in it, an advertisement. It was called the Pasadena Playhouse. I looked at that thing as a little girl, and I didn't know what I could do with it, but I dreamed that I could be something in that Pasadena Playhouse out there in Hollywood. It was a fantasy. That's all it was. But I did gain an appreciation for books and for poems and those things coming up, and I could say them by myself, alone, in a room by myself, and to my sisters. I could say them, learn long poems. I didn't know where that might lead me, and for a while it led me nowhere. But I just knew these things. Went away, went to college, you know, was in one play, and you know, all that while we were still working tobacco when I was growing up. And that was the existence that I knew, you know, until I was an adult woman and got married and had my own kids. But there's somewhere in the back of my mind, lurking, was this dream. But I couldn't get to it because, you know, I had children, I had work, so there was no time for that dream. So it just went by the wayside as I grew older. I have 1 minute.
30 seconds.
A minute?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Take a minute and a half.
No, you have 5. long story short. Make a long story short. I found that dream. And I found it in an odd place. And, you know, it was like, I know I can do this. And I started doing plays in my church. And it grew. And it grew. And now, you know, I wasn't a writer, but I am now. I'm a writer. I'm a playwright. And I am a director of those plays. Many of them. And that's important because being a director teaches you how to treat other people. It enables you to bring the best out of other people. And that has in that there's an element of organizing people to do things and to complete things. So my dream has in fact come true. And the plays are critically acclaimed, you know, in my community, and I hope they will be elsewhere. But so that the thing is that if you have a dream, please don't give up on it. You know, and I'm 74 years old now, and I'm realizing the dream that I had as a child. So I encourage you, hold on to your dreams.